Well, hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to the final episode of Much Ado About Nothing. When this episode started, I was a bit circumspect whether this episode will find some acceptance, whether there will be any listeners, whether there will be any supporters. But you folks have completely amazed me with the kind of support, with the kind of feedback that I have received post these 10 weeks of podcasting has completely blown my mind. So, thank you so much. Keep the motivation coming in for me. That helps me make new content and make good content. This has been an incredible journey for me across cities, stories, and insights. As you know, last week I was in Kolkata. Now I am back home in Mumbai. And now I'm wrapping this season with a deep dive into one of the most curious topics of all: societal norms. That's the topic of today's podcast, episode 10. Let's get started. The absurdity of norms, questioning society's expectations, and finding our own path. Why do we live by certain unwritten rules? What happens when we question or even break them? And most importantly, how can we carve out our own paths in a world full of expectations? Most of the people who have watched the movie Tamasha, they will now begin to find some resemblance with today's theme and what the movie talked about: not falling into the rat race. Today's key discussion points: first is definitely the homecoming reflections. Returning home brings a comforting sense of familiarity, but it also provides a new perspective on what we have already taken for granted. Being back, I reflect on how traveling across different cities in India, especially during the festive season, just shows how unique and sometimes strange our societal expectations can be. Every city and every city's culture, people is completely unique. From the city life of urban places to small town traditions, every place has its own norms, and often those are invisible to even those who live there. They are just so accustomed of living by those norms. That's the reason you would see me speaking the word norms so many times, because they are not rules, they are norms. Rules are visible, rules are enforceable. Norms are given to themselves. It's unwritten rule, right? So the people are so accustomed of living by those norms that these norms become invisible to people. So if you are traveling from outside, only then you would be able to notice, hey, these people are different, or these people live different, or these people behave differently. Norms are different. So how did the social norms start or begin? What is the origin story? Why do we follow certain rules without ever questioning them? Because these norms shape our behavior and they shape our core belief and our value system. These norms tell us what's right, what's not right, how to dress, how to speak, what to celebrate, and these norms set expectations that we may not even agree with. When I sit back and reflect on my experiences across India, and I have lived nearly in a dozen cities by now, within India and abroad, I have found that the moments when I encountered such norms were the moments when I was completely oblivious, and I question why these are not easily visible, or why do people behave in a certain way. Most often, these behavior arise from uh, what people have seen their elders behave, and the elders have seen their elders behave. So it's a kind of tribal knowledge. So even when the circumstances change, people continue to follow those norms, which is pretty unique. The age old wisdom and the the belief system withstands the changes of time. Next is breaking free from the expected. As I journeyed from place to place, I found that each city had its own quirks and what to do and what not to do. Now, when I come back home and I think about those quirks, I feel how much of our happiness and personal growth comes from challenging these rules. If we just follow those rules, we won't be able to grow. We would rather continue to do what we are doing good and will not go beyond our comfort zone. It's only when we go beyond our comfort zone that we get non-linear results. We're able to do something different, something better, something exponential. Or we realize our limitations and we go back to doing what we're doing anyway. But it's essential to challenge the rules. That's where the happiness and growth comes from. So I've seen people who I've met along the way who have found happiness by choosing the path less traveled. It's like pursuing a unique career, following a different kind of family roles, or just being very expressive and being okay to be different. I'm just reminded of Apple's tagline where they celebrate difference. And I'm reminded of the lines of the poem, the path less traveled or the road less traveled. Both being different and celebrating difference, as well as choosing the path less traveled, they all fall under breaking free from the expected. Mind you, this isn't easy. It assumes that you're able to handle societal pressure, expectations, um, maybe you may have to face some setbacks very early when you do something new. So it requires a lot of grit, resilience. But at the end of the day, if you keep on doing um, something that you believe in, you will uh, feel contented and you will find success. And the opposite side of breaking free is conforming. And there are costs. That's the next topic. The cost of conforming. There is often a hidden cost to following norms without questioning them. If there are unspoken expectations from a person, then those expectations can limit the creativity, authenticity, and the sense of self. So, reflecting on my journey and the stories shared through the podcast, I found that how breaking away from these rules can open up new possibilities and lead to greater fulfillment. While it's easy to conform and groupthink, it's equally important to stick your neck out and stand up for yourself and express yourself. Next is home as a place of belonging and self expression. There is a proverb which says that it takes a village to bring up a child, and success begins at home. Home is also the place where one has the freedom to express oneself. It's very essential to create a calming environment at home and helping younger population to balance the community ties with personal growth. Now, with the age of social media and mobile devices, younger generation gets feed of success stories and pictures of highly successful people 24 by 7. That puts an enormous amount of pressure to succeed and to grow. That has to be balanced with a sense of reality and helping them be expressive of what they are good at and what they want to do better, instead of just chasing something that they find as a shiny thing. That chased for a shiny thing will never give them any peace or harmony. So it's very essential for people to honor their roots, remember how humble their backgrounds have been. That helps them realize how far they have come, because that's very essential. Before, people met their friends, classmates, college mates, office colleagues. These people lived with their parents and their siblings. So those were the times when the personal career aspirations were set. Once people start meeting more colleagues, more make start making comparisons with others, they forget where they have started from. So home is a place of belonging and self-expression, and it can help find harmony. Without that, it will be pretty absurd to uh, chase something which is not your target anyway. Home can also be a place where we honor traditions. While doing that, we can also make room for new, authentic ways of living. We need not be bogged down by only one way of living or one way of thinking. There's always space for innovation and fresh thinking. Next chapter or next uh, point before I conclude is embracing absurdity as a path to growth. Some norms are frankly absurd, and that's okay. Sometimes we just need to embrace this absurdity to laugh, grow, and learn about ourselves. When I traveled, I found situations when I would just question societal norms, but never rejected them. Some people are laid back, some people are active, some people are timely, some people aren't, some people are just loud, and others are cooperative. It's fine. It's just the way people behave. The societal norms, they change with place. So it's very essential to have situational intelligence as also a bit of emotional intelligence to know that the norms are different across places. Just one needs to see them with fresh pair of eyes. After all, life is more enjoyable when we allow ourselves to be a little more unconventional. That's a lot of knowledge. So, for our final reflections, as we close this season of Much Ado About Nothing, I invite all of you to take a moment to question the norms you follow in your life, in your work, in your family, and reflect on what truly matters to you. Being back home in Mumbai has reminded me that it's not about breaking every rule, about choosing the ones, rather choosing those that serve us and letting go of those norms that don't help us. Whether it's through small actions or big life decisions, we should each believe that we have the power to define our own destiny, our own path, our own future. Live life without regrets. We are always going to make mistakes. There would be errors. You can make errors of omission or errors of commission. If you make an error of omission, you live a life of regret. But if you make an error of commission and you have a learning mindset, you learn something and you improve yourself as a person and you move on in your life. So, given a choice between the error of omission and error of commission, always choose to make an error of commission. That's my uh, way of thinking. So, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. We will close 2024 with these 10 episodes, and I hope to meet you folks again in Much Ado About Nothing in 2025 with some new topics. Till then, if you haven't listened to all the episodes, take some time out, listen to all the episodes. If you have already listened to these episodes, maybe share these with your friends and your colleagues, put them in your WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, or just write back to me and let me know what I can do better or where I can meet you folks. It would be amazing to hear from you. Thank you so much. I hope this season inspired you to look at the world and yourself with some curiosity and humor. Is the one thing that I have learned is that we don't have to take every rule seriously. Sometimes the greatest joy lies in simply being ourselves. Until next time, keep questioning, keep laughing, and keep finding meaning in the everyday. Peace out.